How does the I feeling arise in man? Parents are the real cause of the arising of the I feeling or ego in man. Right from birth, they teach this to the child. They sow the seed of this non-existing I feeling. To feel that which is not the I as I, this world alone is the cause. That is why this world is called Maya. All our troubles arise from this world alone. That which we are not, we feel I am. Except what we really are, we call everything else I. First, parents teach this I feeling to their children. They teach it through the usage of terms like, this is our house, this is our car, you are our son, don't allow him into the house, you don't mix with them, etc. Gradually, this feeling of I gets ingrained in them. Even to tiny innocent children, they teach, you don't be humble and bow your head to anyone. We are that, we are this, our family lineage is such and such. If someone says something, don't keep quiet, retort immediately, and pay them back in their own coin. This is the kind of knowledge and intelligence they teach. All this they teach to the body, which later rots, putrefies and stinks with all kinds of diseases, and finally disappears. They are themselves suffering and ruining themselves because of these things, and still they teach the same things to their tiny growing children. Children should be taught to be pure, pious and virtuous, fair and just, loving and compassionate in life. God tells us that if we live this kind of life and also go on remembering Him always, we will merge in Him when we leave our bodies. That is why we should live in such a way that we never hurt the feelings of anyone on any account. After knowing that what we are doing is wrong, we should never repeat it. If a person leads a life of wisdom, discretion, mature intelligence and enlightenment, and is also a sincere devotee of God, he will not be born again. He breaks the bondage of repeated births and deaths. It is enough if, like others, he works and earns his living, but lives in bliss and joy. Ignorant people fight with their relatives, run to offices and courts, create unbearable headaches for themselves, and worry day and night. Instead of this, it is better to let things take their own course and keep away from arguments and fights, even if one happens to lose something in the bargain. But if one chooses to fight and create problems, he not only loses happiness and joy for himself in this life, but also has to take a rebirth again. Whatever we see before our eyes are not real and permanent, because they continually undergo change and ultimate destruction. For some time they may exist before us, but one important thing, we are able to see them only because of that supreme force and eternal witness inside us, which is everywhere and lighting up everything. Only that is the eternal reality, and all other things are mere appearances. We should direct our steps towards that and know it. Instead, we are believing in the fleeting appearances before our eyes as real and permanent. Now look. When everyone is silent, there is sound only when one talks. There can be smoke only when there is fire. Here the smoke is not real, it is the fire that is real. Like this, the entire creation we see before our eyes has sprung out of that one supreme consciousness. See, when the air blows, the leaves shake. Can we say, let air be there, but why should the leaves shake when the air blows? Like this, because one supreme reality is there, all this is there, and everything exists in that reality. We should therefore direct our attention towards that Parabrahma Tattva. Using our discretion and knowing what is real and what is unreal, we should walk only towards that. Crores and crores of people believe that what they see with their eyes is alone real, and firmly focus all their attention towards house, property, wife, children, earning, occupation, etc., and remain submerged in that. They see the earth, the sun, the moon, the sky, the stars, the air, the sunshine, everything, but they never bother to ask themselves and think who created all this, how they have all come into existence. They should spare a moment towards this thought. We are all breathing, but who has spread this air everywhere? Who has created this earth, sun, moon, stars, sky, everything? If they ponder over this, slowly enlightenment will dawn in them, and they will attain permanent joy, bliss, and liberation. Another thing, people are seeing before their very eyes that what is there today will not be there tomorrow. In fact, God has kept this creation before us as a mirror to realize this true knowledge and wisdom. A person living today will not be there tomorrow. They only say that he died of some disease. They never pause to think that they too are going to die someday. And still, why are they clinging to this funny idea that they are only bodies? If they persist in this enquiry, they will gradually gain wisdom and shed their feeling that they are mere bodies. That reality is free of all attachments, delusions, and sorrows. That is eternal bliss. If you know that, then you too will become free of all attachments and sorrows. That is formless, full, eternal, infinite, unmanifest, pure, and sacred. One who experiences that, how can he have attachments and sorrows? He knows that these belong only to the body and not to him, who is that supreme reality itself. One cannot have self or God realization easily just like that. This is because, birth after birth, we have fostered and nurtured the idea that we are mere bodies. What is the way out then? We should surrender to Him only. There is no other way. We should earnestly pray to Him, O God, kindly make my mind pure. Please shower me with your blessings and grace. It is enough if I have you. Let the whole world turn against me, but let me have your blessings. You should pray to Him soulfully with your full heart and intense craving. Till then, you will continue to suffer with all your worldly worries and sorrows. The significance of human birth. If a man realizes quite seriously the one single fact that he has obtained this rare human birth after passing through 84 lakh births as other living species, then he becomes really afraid. This means that real wisdom and illumination has at last dawned in him. He immediately decides that having obtained this most precious human birth, he should put it to proper use. Ignorant people, on the other hand, having been born as human beings, just keep on worrying about their wives and children and die. That's all. They neither know about their past, nor are they clear about what they should do in the future. Man should really know that his present birth is most precious, and should therefore become highly agitated and extremely careful to see that not a single moment is wasted. Once a man knows this most important secret, that he had to pass through 84 lakh births as other living species before he could obtain this human birth, he at once realizes the great significance of his present human birth and becomes extremely careful to see that it is put to fruitful use. No other birth has this rare and most precious gift of intelligence and power of discretion. Human birth is therefore most sacred. In this life, we can know everything, what was the past and what will be the future, what is false and what is real, what is permanent and what is impermanent, etc. If we do not put good use to this birth, in which we have knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom, can we even hope to attain fulfillment and eternal happiness in any other birth? In this pinnacle of all births, if we forget this most important fact, can we ever become everlastingly full and joyous? Therefore, one should take to Nama Japa and continuous remembrance without losing even one more moment. Mere talk, argument, and discussion leads us nowhere. If through talks alone one could confer illumination and liberation on others, hundreds and hundreds of people could have done this through their pravachans and discourses. There is absolutely no use from them. One should begin with, or at least engage himself in continuous Nama Japa and Bhajan. Wisdom, illumination, and actual experience in all that only He should confer on us. We should go on yearning and earnestly praying to Him for these. By merely talking about these things, no one can ever transform himself into a real spiritual aspirant. He should begin doing something. He should take to some spiritual discipline or the other. He should scrupulously follow Guru's mandate. If one puts into serious practice even one single piece of advice of saints and Mahatmas, it is enough. He will ultimately attain fulfillment of his life. One should go on doing service to the Guru, worship of God, hospitality to guests and strangers with a full heart, continuous Nama Japa, etc. After all, man can only do this much. Some people go to the Guru with the sole intention of fulfilling their endless worldly desires and go on talking only about their sorrows and difficulties always. What a wonder! Guru can grant you anything. He is so powerful. People go to such a great one and go on asking only trifles. After all, what does a man need? It is enough if they have food and clothing and are able to live a simple life. No, they want all sorts of luxuries, enjoyments, vanities, and ostentations. If they have a house, property, and all other normal comforts, they are not satisfied at all. Nothing is permanent after all, and also they cannot themselves enjoy all that they possess already. They cannot also carry these things with them when they leave their bodies and go. Even then, they go on asking only such things from the Guru. Guru says he can grant them everlasting bliss and joy and tells them to earn it by their own sadhana. He advises them to ask for such things only and begin doing sadhana in right earnest. No, they neither ask for such a thing, nor are they willing to do any kind of sadhana. He entices them to walk on the spiritual path, and they do not even want to look at that side. Spirituality is only an appetizer for them, just like a piece of pickle, while their worldliness continues to be their main menu and staple diet. Even when they sit to listen to religious discourses, or to do bhajan, or to talk and discuss about spiritual matters amongst their fellow devotees, they doze off and even go to sleep. They cannot pay serious attention to anything. Their mind keeps on wandering even when they are doing bhajan. Even when they engage themselves in spiritual discussions, they argue their points ferociously and violently and are envious of other devotees. Will they ever be able to sing with full devotion and real feeling and forget themselves while doing bhajan? Which guru can help such people? That is why we should engage ourselves in Guru Seva, Bhajan and Satsang. We should not go on talking unnecessarily. On the other hand, we should listen with full attention and ruminate over it deeply and engage ourselves in serious sadhana. Even one important point is enough. We should absorb it, stick to it firmly, and do serious sadhana to make it our own. Listening to so many things is no good. If we engage ourselves in serious sadhana, when doubts and difficulties arise, He will come to us in some form and solve them. On the other hand, if we simply go on listening and forgetting, what is the use of that? We will waste our days and waste this precious human birth also. If we don't have even this fear that we should not waste this most precious human birth, what is the point? If one feels that there is still a lot of time to know and do such things, is that right? Remain wherever you want and do whatever you want, but remember your Guru always. He knows how to attract his devotees to himself and how to effect the necessary transformations in them. That is why he always goes on getting things done by them. He works for them and makes them also work. He has tremendous love and compassion for them. To get a Mahatma or a Sadguru, one must have accumulated immense virtue in his past lives. Once you get one like that, you should listen to what he says with all earnestness and sincerity. Do sadhanas directed by him and fulfill the purpose of this most precious human birth. Are religious rites, festivals, and fasts necessary, or is meditation alone sufficient? Instead of giving all of them up, just do them with the full knowledge that all are His only, His worship only. Why not do what we are supposed to do and be just like others? Observe the festivals and do the rituals and fast just like all others. But one thing, we should totally discard all blind beliefs. Some say that the coconut fruit sanctified by mantras and our other rituals and given to you should never be put down on earth. After all, the person holding the coconut is standing on the earth only. The coconut tree has absorbed all the nutrients from the earth only and produced the fruit. And to say that it should not touch the earth now, is it not childish? We should use our intelligence and our power of discretion in such matters. If we just calmly think about it, we ourselves will know what is right and what is wrong. Now, this caste system, it is all nonsense and silly. It just doesn't exist. Merely because people say they exist, we should not blindly believe and create all sorts of unnecessary confusion in our minds. It is not right if we adhere to the system blindly. Anything we should calmly think and do. There is no reason to be afraid of doing what we feel is right. Now, about pouring milk over the serpent stone, the serpent god sculptured over a block of stone. We can do this with the genuine feeling that we are worshipping and adoring that supreme reality. On the other hand, if you do it with the feeling that this is some useless and meaningless ritual, then it really becomes useless. You can do this worship after taking food also, and not necessarily after observing a prolonged fast. If you think big, and your feelings are noble, sacred, God-centered, and full of real devotion, every little act will become really big and holy, and will come to possess great significance and deep meaning. Whatever you do and whatever you offer, it should be done with real feeling and devotion as worship to that supreme reality, to that all-pervading truth. If you offer a handful of flowers with the feeling that you are really offering all beautiful, fresh and fragrant flowers, big and small, that are on all the flower trees all over the world, you would in fact be doing just that itself. And He would be immensely pleased to accept your worship. As you go on doing like this, your mind goes on expanding and ultimately becomes that infinite, boundless, and all-pervading Parabrahma itself. Wherever you worship, whatever idol, in whatever form you worship, you should be seeing that only. If you come to this state, you have become a Brahmagnani, an illumined and self-realized soul. If one broadens his outlook like this, then gradually everything becomes that only to him. Due to Guru's grace, the devotee begins feeling, I am not different to him, I am that only. Feelings like, I am only an individual jiva, meaning soul, I am only this body, etc., drop away, and in their place, feelings like, I am God only, I am that eternal reality only, no, I cannot be anything other than that, etc., come all by themselves. He may continue to look like an ordinary man to others, but he is no longer a human being. He has merged in that and become that itself. Actually, all are different forms of that reality only. But due to our ignorance, we call ourselves by different names and believe that we belong to different castes, creeds, and religions. And as a consequence of all this, we have degraded ourselves to very low levels. It is not a question of merely telling oneself that I am God, I am Shiva. If one simply tells oneself that I am God, he will in fact become very much afraid. When he actually becomes that, there will be no I to tell that I am Shiva. When that has become everything, his individual I will not be there. He too has become that only. He has merged in that. The feeling that only that is there, I am not there at all. I and that are not at all different. This kind of all Brahmic feeling will alone be there. To get such a feeling, to be full with this kind of feeling alone, one should see his existence, his supremacy and greatness, his glory with the inner eye of illumination and wisdom, even when living in this body. The all-compassionate Lord has endowed the human being with this capability also, this ability to see and know the nature of that reality, and to understand beyond all doubt that the whole of this creation and he himself are existing in that only. Once he merges in that, he will never feel like coming out of that. Even if he does come out, he will never feel that he is separate from that. Company of Mahatmas. The company of saints and Mahatmas is of immense value to sadhakas and devotees. This is because only such self-realized and illumined souls, only such Mahatmas who have experienced that eternal reality can, with all competence and authority, prove to you and convince you that it exists. If others tell it, that will be of no use at all. When aspirants, seekers, and sadhakas like you get doubts and miss the way, you need someone to guide and tell you that that is there and this is the way to that. Even when you are away from them, wherever you are, you should be constantly remembering them. Whatever work you engage yourself in should be made a part of your sadhana only. Even if you come to the ashram and go back to your places, you should continue to be the same. Remember your guru constantly and do everything as his seva and as a part of your sadhana. After you go back, if by chance you happen to get any doubt and due to this or any other reason slackness sets in, you should immediately run back to the ashram and see that you become fully fit to continue your constant remembrance and sadhana. This is just like getting the fuel tank of your vehicle filled with petrol before it becomes empty. As you go on doing this and keep progressing in your path to Him, one day you will experience fullness and self-realization. How should we be in our place of work? Question. Mind always gets affected by the effect of its surrounding atmosphere. That is why they call the mind as the child of its surroundings. What should a devotee do so that he is not affected by the infinite attractions before him and gets firmly attached to them? How should he be in his place of work? Appa. We should feel that the place where we work is our sadhana center, the center of our spiritual disciplines. While working, if we become angry due to any reason, we should control our anger and we should learn to be calm and patient and get back our peace of mind. After all, God Himself might have motivated others to provoke us and make us become angry. Who knows? Also, we should realize well that even if we do become angry, we cannot have our way, and therefore that will not really serve any purpose. So, We should regain our calmness and talk to them with love and affection, because we cannot leave them all and be alone and aloof all the time. We need their company, friendship, and association. It is not everyone that can enjoy being alone. Sometimes our place of work gets suffocated with the atmosphere of envy and hatred. However cool and collected we wish to remain, they disturb our minds very badly. Even then, where can we go leaving all this? Therefore, the best thing to do is to go on working with all sincerity and honesty, as long as God keeps us working there. Let people talk and do whatever they want. We should not deviate from our duty and right conduct. To satisfy someone else, we should not change our chosen path of virtue, honesty, and sincerity. Because some others indulge in unjust and wrong ways, if we also do the same, how are we going to be different from such bad and crooked people? Under all circumstances, we should remain firm in our convictions. We should not let go of our goals and principles. Only then God will shower us with His grace, blessings, and will help and protect us always. Non-devotees, people who do not believe in the existence of God, have to protect themselves. There is no other supreme power to protect them. Similarly, when they are in difficulty, they have to help themselves, but their sorrow will never end. For some time they may laugh, but they have to cry again soon. Their minds have to eternally go on swinging up and down. This is not the case with devotees. They remain always in balance. They can remain composed because they have God to solve all their problems and difficulties. Even if they are helped by others, it is God who prompts them to do it. The devotees also know this. That is why they see God in everyone. Even though it is only the self-realized devotee who has become full in every way that can see Him everywhere, and in everyone, and in every situation, the devotee engaged in sadhana also will not falter and be extremely cautious. But the atheists and agnostics are always in hell, are always in sorrow. They will ever be dancing to the tunes set by their minds. In places of work, all sorts of people will be there. Some of them sometimes behave so badly that one gets so terrifically upset and angry that one feels like bawling out contemptuously in a mean and despicable way. Even though one had decided never to become angry, the situation warrants him to behave like this. In order to avoid such situations, one should not do anything against such persons. If something pleases others, if something makes others happy, one could do it if there is nothing wrong in doing that. However, one should be very careful to see that he never does something that wounds the feelings of others, that brings them pain and sorrow. With some people, their whole being is full of hatred. They will be so bad by nature that others will be saying that it is their inherited trait since their very birth. Where such people work or assemble, a genuine spiritual aspirant will shun all such places. Where evil and wicked things take place, a real seeker will never work in such a place, even if his whole future and fortune is involved there. But God will see that he will definitely get that which he would have got had he worked there, in any other place where he works. However, remaining amidst all sorts of bad and despicable people in this world, the sincere devotee will quietly continue his sadhana in secrecy, will forge ahead in his spiritual path, and will easily attain his goal of self-realization and will merge in that supreme reality.